Adelaide is the fifth largest city in Australia by population. According to the Bureau of Statistics, the state has one of the slowest growth rates in the country. South Australia also has an extremely low percentage of daily public transport use, at a small estimated 10% as of 2013. Despite its low population growth, there is an increasing amount of citizens using public transport as a means of getting into the Adelaide CBD. As a result, buses, trains and trams are gradually becoming more and more full, particularly during peak hours. Due to this high use of public transport, traffic becomes much more jammed, making it difficult to travel around urban areas. A simple yet effective solution to help solve this congestion on Adelaide roads would be to introduce more bus and/or train routes from suburban areas. Despite the fact that Adelaide is one of the slowest population growth rates, the city is nevertheless growing. This means that smaller suburbs will become more inhabited, requiring better public transport routes and stops into the city. By introducing these routes, the bus and train passengers around Adelaide will become more evenly distributed and reduce main road congestion. This will improve the overall efficiency of the public transport system into places like Adelaide city centre, as traffic would flow faster and smoother.
Despite having a larger population than Adelaide, Melbourne's public transport system is highly efficient and time effective. With regular transport services, Melbourne's commuters do not have to wait longer than 15 minutes during the day for tram services. These tram services consist of 24 lines which begin in the city and extend to Melbourne's outer suburbs. Adelaide, however, only has one tram line which begins roughly 5 kilometres from the city and finishes at a popular beach destination. The addition of tram lines to popular destinations such as Norwood and North Adelaide would have the potential to increase public transport usage and get cars off the road. From 1996 to 2006, Melbourne saw a 35% growth in individuals using public transport. A census completed in 2006 found that public transport increased as a result of home and work location and a lack of car parking. Furthermore, 17.7% of adults in Melbourne use public transport to get to work, compared to only 14.4% in Adelaide. Moreover, increasing the amount of trams and bus stops and extending the tram line to popular shopping destinations, similar to Melbourne, would increase the effectiveness of public transport.
There are numerous benefits to having a better public transport system. These include financial factors for citizens and less congestion on the roads. Another compelling reason is the negative impacts cars have on the environment. The dominant pollutant emitted by motor vehicles is carbon dioxide or CO2, a greenhouse gas which traps heat in the Earth's atmosphere and causes global warming. Significant research has been done into the negative effects of global warming. Greenpeace listed impacts such as the melting of glaciers and polar ice caps, which has led to the rising of sea levels and heightened accounts of extreme weather. Studies have found that in Australia, the transport system is the third largest source of emissions, with 85% of those transport emissions coming from road vehicles. Of the transport road vehicles, cars are responsible for nearly half of all emissions. Reports show that on average, Australian cars emit approximately 250 grams of carbon dioxide per person per kilometre, while buses only emit between 12 and 22 grams of carbon dioxide per person per kilometre. Most trams these days are powered by electricity and therefore emit minimal levels of CO2. This suggests that one way to reduce the progression of climate change is to reduce the number of cars on the road by providing people with an alternative, such as an improved and reliable public transport system.
In recent years, the South Australian Government has made numerous improvements to the public transport infrastructure, particularly to bus and train routes. These improvements include the Oban extension into Adelaide and the completion of priority bus lanes within the city between the hours of 7am and 7pm. These changes have reduced traffic congestion and improved travel times in and around the city. In addition to these recent changes, the government is currently investing in extending the tram line down North Terrace and is planning to improve bus timetables by making buses more regular. This is important because the inner city of Adelaide has the highest number of commuters travelling to work by car in Australia. By making bus and tram routes more available, greater numbers of commuters will be more inclined to use public services over private transport. As mentioned previously, this is important because decreasing the number of cars will reduce current and future congestion, improve travel times for public services, and be beneficial to the environment. Investing in further public transport for the future of our state is necessary because of our growing population and increasing need to be connected. Research suggests that one way Adelaide's public transport can be improved further is by providing more transport options to commuters living on the outskirts of the city. How this could be implemented is by using a similar structure to Melbourne's transport system, including a city loop and tram lines that extend to outer suburbs. This would improve transport options while also reducing congestion on roads, as public and private systems can run simultaneously.